Manio fashion, we started 30 seconds early this morning. Good morning. We didn't mean that blip. Oh, twitchy finger. Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio coming out of Lewes in East Sussex. A pretty grim morning out there, actually, not at all summery, although we're promised heatwave next week. Personally, I prefer it just to be warm and sit outside with an umbrella. That's Buddy from Bensound greeting the day. The folks at Bensound, pretty nice people actually. They have, you can go and buy their music, but also as long as you're not making a bob or two, which we're not, even though we'd like to, you can use their music for free, and that's very, very nice of them. The other people to expose new composers is YouTube, and the audio library at YouTube comes up with some pretty damn good stuff, and we play it regularly each morning. And what we do is we play it sight unseen, so it's an experiment between the two of us as to whether we like it or not. I suppose really what we'll start is once we settle in, and the summer is no time to settle in, we'll aim for September, and we'll start a little poll so you can all give your views on the sort of music that we use, and by then perhaps we'll have some people listening to us. Who knows? Never mind, even if it's only me, I get a great deal of enjoyment out of this in the morning. But if you do actually want to let us know that you're listening, try doing miradortelevision.com. I think it's Mirador Lewis, miradorlewes @gmail.com, and you can drop us a note there, and perhaps in dropping us a note you'll take a look at our TV presentation. It's all a bit of a mess at the moment because we're having the what do you call those things, that the website, that's right, the website shows my age when I can't remember website. We're having the website redone. And it all looks a bit of a mess, but it'll come out on top eventually. It'll look good, and then we'll invite you to take a look at the website as well as take a listen. So, Rouser Radio, Mirador Television, all part of one package, all mad as hatters, but a wonderful, wonderful way to live life, particularly in coronavirus times when things are so unsure. A fight goes on. The politicians say one thing and the scientists say another, and it's very difficult to know who to choose. Of course, the thing is that we all want the coronavirus to be resolved. We all want it to go away. But there are some who are given license to go back to work, to go back to leisure, to go back to pleasure. And they found that within days they were back in lockdown, particularly the East Midlands, but also around London. Oh, dearie me. It is a real conundrum as to what to do. I personally have, I know somebody who makes face masks, and I've asked if she'll do me one with a skull and crossbones on, just to show that I'm coming. But Boris says we've got to put them all on to go into retail places and so on and so forth, and the evidence is that it helps. Then of course you can't help it nowadays, is government discipline has gone totally. You know, I mean, they say chief whip, and if I was a chief whip I would actually go and reach for my whip and I'd go and beat some of these people around the ears. Because the moment that senior government officials say one thing, you've got a whole bunch of little bouncing puppies who say another. And frankly, my dears, if you really want to lose the faith and the confidence of the public, behave the way you're going to. Because remember, we got rid of the last lot. There were more MPs hit the dust because of their nonsensical thing. The funny thing is, we all learn from our mistakes. We make a mistake, it can be a very silly mistake. We can feel very embarrassed, but we learn from it. Except for politicians. They learn nothing. They learn absolutely nothing. They carry on as if the world hasn't changed. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. It's quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. Well, the one thing is that perhaps we can tag them as a species. Examine them. Put one of them under a microscope. But that's what we do all the time. Put people under a microscope, don't we? Well, this morning, because it was a bit dour, I chose music with a rainy theme, just to see if we could stay upbeat while looking outside and thinking, not a day for a picnic. Well, this isn't called Not a Day for a Picnic, but we've all done it. We've all looked up and we have seen some strange, weird shapes in clouds, particularly a face. And this is called A Face in the Cloud. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I rather liked that. A face in a cloud. One of the things that I've enjoyed, that perhaps many of you have, I don't know how you travel, but is lying in a deck chair. Well, I suppose it was a deck chair. At about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, sipping a beer in northeastern Nigeria in a place called Damaturu, which, strangely enough, funny little Damaturu, is one of my favourite places. Most of you would say, oh my God, what am I doing here? But Damaturu is one of my favourite places, and I lay sipping a beer in a place with Sharia law, so I was taking the chance of being thrown into the jug or having my hand cut off or something of the sort by drinking a beer. But I was watching an African thunderstorm, and they are fascinating because the sky is absolutely clear except for clouds, quite individual clouds floating along. And the lightning doesn't go from the cloud to the ground, it goes from cloud to cloud. It's the most incredible view. And the flashes are just magnificent. And the quiet of an African night, because you hear all the various bits and pieces of the bush, of the insects, of the cicadas, if that's what they are, the crickets, because they have no light pollution and they have no sound pollution in the main. Yes, they have cars, but not many. The taxis happen to be little mopeds, and you hop on the back and the guy takes off. It's a thrill of a lifetime, believe me. But that is a magnificent, magnificent occasion, lying, watching an African thunderstorm. And so that face in a cloud I rather liked. I thought that that was a good piece. Actually, whenever I go to Africa, and I haven't been for 3 or 4 years now, which is a great pity because I love the place, we would go from Abuja, the capital city, to Damaturu, which is about 400 to 500 miles north. It would take a 2-day trip. And it's fascinating, when you leave Abuja, you go through what I would call temperate climate. You can see things that look like a golf course. It's not, but you can see pastures. On the roadside, they're selling cabbages, carrots, potatoes. And as you slowly climb up towards the plateau, which is midway between Abuja and Damaturu, you can see the changes in the vegetation and the changes in the things that are sold on the side of the road. Slowly, fruits take over from vegetables, and eventually bananas become the staple commodity that is being sold by the roadside merchants. And what they make from that will probably keep somebody alive for a week, particularly if there's somebody like me who likes to pay the full whack. But you know, when all this stuff about discrimination and so on is, my wife didn't have a discriminatory, late wife didn't have a discriminatory bone in her body, and there are many photographs of her kicking around with Zulu warriors and chiefs of various tribes, as well as just ordinary people that she's met and who will welcome in our home. I like to